Hey, Jay here. Welcome to our top 10 trail essentials to help you out on the trail. Okay, so to preface this, we're talking about trail riding in more remote areas as far as this video goes. We're riding in Utah today, in southern Utah, in some pretty remote areas where we don't have cell service. It's fairly difficult to get out of here if you break down, those types of things. So we're talking about those kind of areas, riding in Colorado, Idaho, Montana, Utah, and all that, in the deserts of California, those types of things. So that's what we're really referring to. If you're trail riding, say back east, and you're in a small riding park, things aren't as critical because it's easier to get back to the truck or get towed back if there's a problem. So here we go. Number one, you can ride trail riding on about any bike, but it's much more enjoyable and safer and a better time to be on the proper bike. And what do I mean by the proper bike? That's a trail bike, like an XCF or an EXC, a bike that's designed to be a trail bike and not just a full motocrosser. These bikes are all derived from motocross bikes, but they have different transmissions. They have a kickstand, which really helps. Electric start. Being with guys that are kickstarting bikes in the trail, it's pretty miserable for them. And when we stop, they're the only guys that don't want to shut their bike off, right? So they want to keep it running. So proper bike is really important. If you're going to be getting into trail riding seriously, I recommend getting a proper trail bike. Especially if you're going to be doing 50, 60-mile rides with a group of guys, you want to be on a good, proper trail bike. Okay, so in a lot of areas, a lot of guys are riding motocross bikes, and they say that's because that's all they can afford, and I totally understand. So on that motocross bike, you want to, that kickstand's going to help you so you're not leaning against a tree all day long, and also make sure it's at least an electric start bike. And an 18-inch rear wheel will give you more side cushion, so it's a smoother ride, bump-wise, bump absorption, and also less chance of flats with an 18-inch rear tire, and more choices of good off-road tires with an 18-inch tire on there, rim. So that really is what I would recommend if you're going to do a motocross bike. So going along with a proper bike would be a headlight. Even if you don't have any plans to ride at night, it's still very valuable to have. And Spencer and I learned this the hard way a few times. So your best laid plans can all go out the window. So even a stock one is sufficient to get you back. You're not racing. You don't have to have a high powered light unless you plan on trail riding at night. But you need to have at least a stock style powered light to get you back to the truck safely. Okay, not critical, but many of the XCFs and EXCs, they come with a pretty good sized stock tank that'll get you anywhere from 50 to 70 miles. In that range, depending upon the type of riding you're doing. We like to put on a larger tank so that we have a buffer zone, and we can also share fuel with somebody else if we have to. We have a transfer system from Takomoto, so we have this as a safety reservoir. Nothing's worse than running out of gas way out on the trail. Okay, next is handguards, and I like wraparound handguards for a few reasons, mainly because we're just trail riding. Guys that swear, there's many guys that preach to you not to run wraparounds because they feel like you're going to get caught in these things, and I think that's mainly for racers. If you're racing going high speeds, you have a higher chance of getting pitched off the bike and getting caught. Guys are worried you're going to get caught in here. Pretty much, if you're crashing, we haven't had that problem, knock on wood. The advantage of having wraparounds is you're not going to break a throttle tube, a lever. You're not going to break those types of things off on simple falls. So having something. So I recommend if you want to have just flags on, like what the stock KTM ones are, that's great. But you got to have something on there for handguards, and this is what we like to do.
Onyx Off-Road.
Or any other system. This is a system we use, and this helps you, just makes it way safer and more enjoyable to find trails. Your trail day, week, whatever you're doing on your trip is way more enjoyable when you can look at your tracked routes that you've done. You can use the route builder to build routes, and then we have a discount code, so you can buy it and test it. You can test it out for a week. If you're going to take a trip, you can test it out for a week for free. So you can use our code. Is it Dirtbike TV1?
It's DBTV1.
DBTV1. There you go. Next is protection pieces, like a skid plate. And that's going to help, especially in rocky conditions, help prevent any damage to the bottom of the motor, and a linkage guard like we have here. Also, with rocks, but mainly with logs, the plastic skid plate will help you glide over that. Our buddy Travis, who likes to remind us of that. We also have like a disc guard in the back. We haven't had serious problems bending rotors, knock on wood, but the main ones I'd recommend is a skid plate and a linkage guard. Those are the things that hang down. If you're on an EXC bike, a bike without a linkage, you're golden, and that's kind of nice. You don't have that problem. Cardo. This is an in-helmet communication. This isn't critical, but it sure does help improve the ride for a few different reasons. We get more riding in, and because we can talk to each other rather than having to stop and talk about our route. With Spencer and I think we argue less because we don't have to stop and get all mad that one guy wants to go this way. We can work it out talking it a little bit better. So works out really well for us. We do have a code for this as well.
It's DBTV1.
DBTV1,
yeah.
Easy. If you have any problems on codes, always just email us. But these are just game changer. If you're getting to get into trail riding a lot, also the guy in front, say it's the dad and the kid's behind, he's learning, he can come to a spot, he can tell his son, hey, slow down, there's this thing coming up here or whatever. So Spencer does that for me and warns me of stuff coming, so that's pretty nice. Some type of satellite communication can be good. Of course, not critical, but if you do get into a problem that's, say, life-threatening, these kind of things, there's all different devices out there. This bivy stick we have, and what's nice is Spencer just sent a message to his sweetie telling her, hey, he's checking in, everything's fine, because we have zero signal out here where we're at, really remote. And also, if you have two of the, Spencer and I both have one of these, so we're able to text between us. If we were to get separated far, we could text between us. So that is pretty slick, and it all goes through the app on our phone, but you can also use it in an emergency deal without that. So this is something you want to keep close to you, either in your hydration pack or on you, or in your fanny pack, whatever you have. Hydration pack. So there's a lot of improvements in these. These that cross like a man's ear. OGO has a real nice one here, this kind of pack. I highly recommend having a good hydration pack. We've been out with guys who just bring a bottle of water in their jacket or whatever, and like motocross guys, it's nice to have a proper hydration pack. And here you can keep your snacks, which is really important, and also some basics on tools. Okay, one of the things I like about this hydration pack that Travis is wearing every single Sunday, he has like a pocket in the front where he can keep his phone. And so today it's warm, so I'm not wearing a vest. In the vest, I'd usually have my phone. So I'm wearing a fanny pack right here, and I have my phone because I like to be able to have it close, be able to either whether to stop and check the trail or to be able to call or take photos, whatever. It's nice to have it close. Travis has some like little basic tools here close. I'm guessing he pulls out cactus with this. This is what I know, guys that keep this right here. That's what that's for. So nice looking pack. Also, again, distributes the weight really well, the way these are set up with a nice frame on it. If you're looking for anything dirt bike related, parts, gear, anything like that, head over to our website or the link in the description below and click on the Rocky Mountain link. From there, you'll be able to see all of our top picks and much more. It's a great place to find all the dirt bike parts that you need. Okay, so tools. A lot of guys write me and ask me what tools to bring. Knock on wood, with all of our modern bikes, we don't ride bikes that are more than 3 to 4 years old max, and most of the time 2 to 3 years old. I guess we have one bike on this trip that's 5, right? That's 17. Mm-hmm. So they're getting older. But knock on wood, if you maintain your bikes well, you shouldn't have a lot of problems. We always have a tow strap. We have some basics and tools with lots of zip ties to zip up our tire situation if we need to. But also, it's nice to have friends or frenemies that you can invite that carry more tools than you. So more tools. I'm carrying enough extra weight, so I don't want to bring extra weight of tools. So I just have the basics. Our buddy Travis has a nice tool pack where he'll have the basics in there to try to fix most anything you can, but it's tough to guess at what's exactly obviously going to break. So, but I recommend having some basics and tools, you know, with some sockets, 8, 10, 12, some wrenches and some zip ties, even some putty. We keep a thing of like a JB Weld type putty. We have a different one. So some putty to fix maybe a cracked case, those types of things. So nice to have some basics of tools with you when you're so far remote. Okay, proper tires and tubes. We have a worn out 81 EX, but this thing is, well, since it was worn out, I went ahead and brought it here. No one would ride in really rocky terrain. It's probably the last ride for that tire, but things work so good. They're gummy. We're running heavy duty tubes, front and rear. Now, a lot of guys were going, don't you want mooses? And I do think mooses are very good for 2 big situations. If you're racing and can't afford a DNF, or say you're in Baja where a DNF is a real ordeal. So those are 2 huge ones. The rest of the time, we kind of make do and get out of the situation. We're always within an hour or so of the truck-ish, or at least down to a road. We can get down to a road, then we can get picked up by somebody else. So we've always made do. We get maybe 1 flat a year, I think is about between Spencer and I, right? Mm-hmm. Is about what we average. So I like to go with tubes. We have buddies like Travis and other guys who will run mooses. One of the things to know about mooses is they are not maintenance-free. Mooses can require as much maintenance as the tire itself. Ideally, mooses, you should be not letting your bike just sit in the ground on your garage. It should be on a stand. You should if you're not going to ride the bike a long time, you should be pulling the mooses out and storing them in a plastic bag. No one's doing that kind of stuff, right, with their mooses. But those are things that would help a moose last longer. So guys that ride mooses a lot, that are really good at changing them and all that, they actually have pieces of moose and will piece them into a tire and run them. So Spencer's running moose's front and rear on his Moto Experts bike, and it's kind of a weird feel, especially in that front, right?
Yeah.
So that it can be a weird feeling if you're not used to it. I tell most guys, if you run proper tubes, everything's assembled well, baby powder in there, and I even double tube with a stock tube around the heavy duty tube, you're in pretty good shape. So having good tires is important. There's plenty of I tell guys, if you're riding just in Rudy Rocky stuff, that a Dunlop AT81 EX or the Trials tires are a really good tire. The D803 is really good. The only place it's maybe not great is in mud or snow, those two situations. So if you're just in Rocky Rudy stuff, in riverbeds and stuff, it's great. It does fine even in sand like this. It'll get out of sand like this. And then as far as other tires, we like MX12 or MX14 a lot in the more deserty stuff because you can just rock it up hills, throws a big roost, really fun. Okay, so that's a wrap. Hopefully you've enjoyed some of our trail footage here and some of the scenes we've showed you, and some of these tips will help you out. If you ever have any questions, feel free to email us, and you can go to our contact in their bio there, and you can email us, send me your questions. I'll always try to answer you, and hopefully you enjoy it. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, and hopefully we'll see you out later. Know where you're going with the #1 GPS app, accessing 500,000 miles of trails and roads, open dates, and public lands. Plan your routes before you head out with the new state-of-the-art Route Builder. The Elite version even shows landowners and property boundaries. Download the Onyx Off-Road app today for a free 7-day trial. Also, to save 20%, use the discount code DBTV1.